Yo, what's up? It's your boy H2O, and welcome back to another episode of the New Balance Podcast. That's right, we back in the building, and let me stop right here and just shout out the lovely, lovely audience, fan base, my viewers. Thank God for you. Without you, no New Balance Podcast. So, what up, family? So good that you've tuned back in, and yeah, we back at it. I told you we had a little pause for the cause, but the pause is up and we are back in the saddle. This series has taken a life of its own, man. I told you that this was a conversation that we needed to have, and you cannot deny every guest that's been on, they've been hitting it, they've been crossing the T's, dotting the I's, and I'm telling you, we're not done with this yet. There's more left because all of us need to be living inside of what's living inside of us. Listen, enough of all that yap, yap, yap. I want to get to it. Listen to me. New Balance Podcast. Show some love to my sister, Renetta. Renetta, what's up? That's okay. She froze for a minute, but she'll be right back in. While she's unfreezing, listen, this young lady that I have on the screen right now, we go way back, right? She's a great friend of the family. Her kids, man, her grandkids, we just been rocking for a long time, and we did some talking a little while back, and it's like, man, Renetta, you need to come on and share your story. She's still frozen, no problem. We're gonna pivot. We're going to rewind it. That's okay. We dropped out. It's gonna drop back in. Renetta, she should be logging back in any moment. And what I love about this, it doesn't matter what you're doing in life, man. This is a great example of how sometimes you have to get a new balance. Technology is technology, but we don't let it stop us. Sometimes you have to do what Renetta's doing right now. She's having to reboot. She's having to reset. And sometimes when you do that, it takes a moment in order for things to get back the way they were. Um, you know, the natural reaction would be to freak out. Oh my God, it paused and she broke out. Oh, she messed up the podcast. That is not the case. There's nothing's messed up, right? It's just life. And sometimes when life happens, don't let it bombard you. You bombard life by saying, look, I got it. I got it. It's cool. Life happens sometimes, right? I'm gonna put both hands on the wheel, and it just does it. It just does it. But no problem. I'm gonna I'm gonna drive through this storm. You understand? And listen, every storm, hear me, please, 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 hear me. Every storm, it ends, right? Man, 2017, man, here in Houston, man, we had Harvey. Man, that storm, it got national attention across the world, man, because of the devastation. But guess what? It ended. Yeah, Houston was basically underwater. All of the surrounding towns, cities, we were underwater. But guess what? We made it through. We made it through. We made it through. And now it doesn't even feel like it's coming up on next month. It'll make 5 years since Harvey, right? So hey, you just have to go through it. Sometimes you got to give it some time. See, I'm just communicating with Renetta right now, right? That's the other thing that's key when life happens. Not only is the storm going to end and you go through it, you got to make sure that your communication is intact. You need to be connected with somebody who's going to talk you through it while you're going through it. Let me say that again. You have to make sure that your communication is intact. And you need to communicate with someone who's going to talk you through it while you're going through it. That's what me and Renetta's doing right now. I don't know who this is for, but obviously somebody needs to hear this and see this. The days of us just freaking out, we can't do that. There's too many things dependent upon us. There are too many people depending on us. And so I don't I don't know how long it's going to take for Renetta to come back and join the podcast. But whenever she joins it, we're going to pick up where we are and we're going to finish it. Yeah, this podcast may go a little longer than it normally would, but I'm going to use this opportunity to share with you how living on the inside of you, living on the inside of what's on the inside of you, sometimes it just comes with trauma. Sometimes it comes with chaos. Sometimes it comes with the unknown. When we got on, it was unknown that whatever caused her to drop out would have her to drop out, but no problem. No problem. Listen, she's getting ready to join right now. And that's what happens. It takes a moment. It takes a moment. What did I tell y'all? There she is. She's right back in the thing, right? What's going on, sis? Look, man,
Everything's good.
everything is good. Listen, Renetta, listen, I was talking the whole time you were out. I was still talking to the audience and I was telling them, man, we're not freaking out. I'm gonna wait however long it takes for Renetta to come back on. I'm gonna wait for her. I was telling them that while you wasn't on the screen, I said, man, you were talking. I said, we were texting. I was telling her, log back on. You good.
Right,
I got you. We ain't stopping. This let
right.
me, let me help you with something. Whenever you do something that's worthwhile, whenever you do something that's going to help people, that's going to move people forward, that's going to free people, that's going to deliver people, I want you to expect some adversity. Is it going to
Wow.
happen all the time? No. But sometimes it's going to happen. And I'm telling you personally, I know Renette, I've been knowing her for a long time. Her story is about to help and it's about to free some people. So if I was the enemy, I would be upset too. I would tell her internet, he need to tell my internet up because that's it. I ain't getting off of here. I'm not gonna shut my mouth. We about to help some people. So once again, I am look, now my wife is calling. I'm on the podcast. Look, everything happens, you know. I that's a call I definitely want to take, but I'm letting her know um I'm on the podcast. This is great. Uh, you know,
Everyday life, real life.
everyday life, man. Listen, this is such a unique podcast. I love it. And we're gonna run with it. As I was getting ready to do, I was getting ready to introduce you, Renetta. I was saying, hey, show some love to my sister Renetta. And you know, then it froze. No problem.
Okay.
Uh, this sister right here, man, I've been knowing her for a long time. I know her kids, I know her grandkids. And I know you look at her like grandkids. I know she young. That girl young. Come on, that girl is young. That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. But she and I, man, we have history. That was a moment in our lives. We were going to the same church, to the same ministry. Actually, it's really how we met through ministry. But she and I and my family, we're all friends. We have a relationship outside of church, which I'm thankful for. Um, Obviously, those that rock with it, they know back in 2020, the church we all attended, it closed. Man, it was a tough season for all of us. But you
Right.
know, life continues to go on. And one of the things I'm grateful for are the relationships that came out of that relationship. So this is my sister. One more time, New Balance Podcast. Show some love to my sister Renetta. Renetta, what up, sis?
Hey, 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 thank you. Thank you for having me on. I really
Yeah,
appreciate
man. Yeah.
it.
Oh man, I appreciate this. This is gonna be good. I'm trying to keep my emotions intact because I already know what I want to say and all that good stuff. But hey, we're gonna ride it. We're gonna ride it. So,
Okay.
all right, audience. So we have Renetta back. Um, what what's going to be really good, Renetta, is when you go back and you watch this episode and you hear what I was sharing with them while you were off, it's going to give so much more credence to the conversation that you and I are having. So, from
Okay.
just personally, I can't wait for you to hear that part.
Okay.
So, I was saying, man, this conversation about living on the inside of what's living inside of you has just taken it's just taken over period. My life, my relationships, because I'm on an all out blitz to encourage and to help people understand and to live inside of what's living inside of you. Um, I guess a great place for me to jump in with you, Renetta. Renetta is not only my sister, but Renetta is a business owner. And one of the things I love about her and her story is I like being around people who just off of faith step out with no sense realm evidence, with no backing from no bank and nobody sitting around say, hey man, we got $50,000 to jumpstart you, and none of that, man. This sister that's on, she stepped out by faith, and we're looking at almost like coming up on 10 years of her serving in her lane of business. And not only that, man, she does other things outside of business. So, Renetta, let's just dive in there. Just kind of tell the people who you are. Tell them a little bit about your family dynamic. You know, her kids, man, they're near and dear to my heart. I was their youth pastor, so I'm definitely dating myself, man. I was their youth pastor, both of her kids, and you know, like I said, man, she's my sis, and we've been rocking for a while. Kind of tell the people a little bit about yourself, Renetta, and what's going on in life.
Okay. Well, again, my name is Renetta Viagas, and I am um, a mother of two adult children.
Yeah.
They're now 30, my son, and my daughter is 32.
Oh,
And
Kiara better stop it. Tell her I say she better slow down. How
I
she
know,
trying to be 32? What? Wow.
exactly. I
Wow.
know.
Wow.
I know.
Oh my God.
And I have, I know, right? I know. Brother Harry said that I have three grandchildren.
Yeah.
Braxton is three, and Kier has Imani and Camille, which are 7 and 14.
Wait a minute. Imani, 14.
14, freshman in
Look,
high school.
look, okay. So after the podcast, send me her school. I'm gonna roll up to her school, and you know what I'm going to do, right? I'm
Right,
gonna go up there and make myself known to everybody.
right,
Okay.
right,
All right.
right,
Okay. I got you.
right. So yeah, that's my family.
Yeah.
I am a business owner.
Yes.
Um, for the last past almost 9.5, 10 years. And so before that, I was in the corporate world for about 22 years.
Mm-hmm.
And like Brother Harry said, I stepped out on faith almost 10 years ago. I was kind of also pushed out there. You know, I didn't want to go. I was kicking and screaming at first, but I had a dream.
Yes.
I didn't know how that was going to look, but um, you know, God worked it out. And so I'm happy to say I'm glad he did push me out there because I probably
Incredible.
wouldn't have ever done that.
Wow, incredible, incredible, Renetta.
So,
You
so
know,
yes.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no, a couple
Yeah.
things that you said I want to capitalize on. There are going to be some things that you say that I really want to take and run with, um, just off of the
Mm-hmm.
strength of, you know, there's a familiarity, right? So you were in corporate America for 22 years, so it represents to a degree a safety net, a safe place, and something familiar. You've been doing it. You could probably do it in your sleep, right? And obviously, we need a job. We have to have something to that we're dependent on to move in life, right? So I get it, right? But on top of that,
Right.
you had this job in corporate America, but man, Renetta, you had something living on the inside of you that was greater and so much better than that corporate America. And this was the thing. All of us would see you do it and think, why in the world isn't she not doing that instead
Right.
of this? Because when she does this, it's like pie wow. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And so to somebody that maybe it's not just corporate America, but you've been toiling, you've been doing this thing, but you know there's something else that's calling you. And for Renetta, it was calling her because she said she got a push. And we're going to talk about being pushed a little later. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But
Mhm.
the point is this: there are levels to living on the inside of what's living inside of you. There is a group of us who don't know, right? They just don't know. And I get it. We've dealt with that along this journey. Then there's another group of us who has some inklings, like,
Mhm.
when you get in that environment, something catches a fire on the inside of you. Then there's a group of us like Renetta. Renetta know, she know the thing that's living on the inside of her, but she needed that push. She needed the help to step out on faith and do it. So whichever one that you are, I want to bring you some hope on today that it's possible, right? It's possible. So now, Renetta, you 22 years of the familiar, right? Now you're
Mhm.
getting ready to step out into the unfamiliar. Even though you have gifts, talents, and abilities, it's still unfamiliar. Because over here in the familiar, every Friday or every other Friday, you know how much money you're gonna make. You understand? You got your budget, and hey, if you go to work 5 days a week, well, that's what I'm gonna get. But on in the unfamiliar, it's like I have to build it. And so in building something, there are some variables that you just can't quantify. You can't put your finger on. So I get it. Talk to us about the push. Let's talk about the push and talk about when you were pushed, did you push back or did you jump off the cliff or did you just when you got pushed, did you stand there for a year or 2 years? Let's talk.
Okay.
Let's get into the push, Renetta.
Okay. So let's be real. Okay. So I'm going to be real, real.
Please do. Please do, Renetta. Please do.
So, um, like I said, I was in this job for a while and it was a good job, people would say. But I was tired. I was tired of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
It became like a chore. Um, so one of the instances that happened, that started this journey, I believe, was one day on a Friday.
Mm.
I checked my bank account. I was at work, checked my bank account this Friday, getting paid.
Let's go.
And it didn't have my money up in there.
Ooh.
So yeah, it didn't have my money up in there. So called the bank, and the bank
Mm-hmm.
said, well, ma'am, you need to call your company,
Mm-hmm.
HR.
Right.
So I called the HR, and they didn't really say anything. Next thing I know, they called a corporate meeting because everybody started checking their bank accounts and the money wasn't in their accounts.
Mm.
So long story short, we had a big meeting and to let us know that the company was being shut down, um, because it was being investigated, had been being investigated, and we don't know anything. Especially, we don't know if y'all gonna get paid for the last 2 weeks y'all worked.
Ooh.
Now I'm talking about, this is a big corporation. This is
Yes.
a big corporation.
Yes. Fortune
Okay.
500. I understand.
Yes.
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 So, I was frazzled. You know,
Mm.
I was frazzled. A lot of people was frazzled. So
Absolutely.
not knowing what was going to happen, we didn't have a job. They just like basically fired everybody at one time,
Mm.
or let everybody go. Okay, because they didn't have money to. I mean, it was a lot going on
Wow.
in that time. I learned to trust God
Mm-hmm.
even more.
Yeah.
I found that He was my supplier.
Yeah.
So after that happened, um, they, they worked with us they were able to put us different places or whatever for a little while.
Okay.
And so that was the first incident that happened. The
Wow.
second incident happened. Fast forward, the second incident happened. I was working at a company, and at the time, I was taking care of my mom. She had got
Right.
sick.
That's right.
Um,
That's right. I
dad
remember
had
that.
recently, mhm. My dad had recently started getting sick,
Mm-hmm.
So I had been doctor's appointment with both of them because I'm pretty much the only child that was living.
Right.
So I was pulled in, and they told me that basically they was giving me 6 months probation. I could not be off for 6 months. If I was off for 6 months, I was gonna get let go.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a round table. And so I thought about that, and I said, well, I have a sick mom, a sick dad I'm taking care of. I have two young children.
Right.
So you're
Absolutely.
telling me in that 6 month time, if I take off one time or call in, I'm gonna get let go or fired? They said yes. I said, okay, you can give me the papers right now.
Mm.
Now, I made the decision right now. I don't know. I didn't know what I was gonna do, but I
Right.
just knew that wasn't realistic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they said, you sure? And I said, I'm sure. So at the time I had like a side hustle.
Yeah.
And that became my full-time hustle. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the second incident. But God carried me through that also.
Yeah.
And so the third time, in between the third time, that time and the third time, is something that came upon me. I just knew that I wanted to do something else. I didn't know exactly what, but I had a dream that I want to be my own boss and have
Yeah.
flexibility.
Yeah.
Because of reasons of that, because I had to take care of my mom
Yes.
12 years. I had to take care of my
Yeah.
dad for a little while.
Man.
And I needed the flexibility. I needed the flexibility in my. I said I need to be doing my own thing. I don't know what, but I
Yeah.
need my own thing. So fast forward, um, my my other employee, my next employee, uh, I money was good. I finally liked my position, and I called in one day, and I was like, Jesus, what's going on?
Mm.
And but they did me good or whatever, because but I was like, what's really going on? And so my manager told me, find something that you like doing. And so I pondered on that. And so one day I was at home and I was thinking, I was sitting in there, and I said, Lord, what am I supposed to be doing?
Mm-hmm.
And I did it just like this. And so I looked at my hands and I said, you said whatever I have, whatever I'm supposed to be doing, I already have within me. It's not outside of me.
Mm.
And so that's when that got birthed. And so I said, makeup. That's all I said is makeup. So my wheels got to turning. I started thinking about stuff. I made my website. I had been dabbling in that, doing a little bit of that. So I made my first website. And I said, okay, now I need to find a mentor. I
Mm-hmm.
found a mentor, and that thing was just walking itself out.
Yeah.
And then, okay, but it was a twist to that.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I was taking care of my mom, so I couldn't really start it then because my kids were still young. My
Mm-hmm.
mom still needed me. My
Mm-hmm.
dad was starting to need me more, and I
Mm-hmm.
just couldn't do it at the time. And
Right.
plus, I wanted to go to school, but I couldn't because it was only during the day, and I needed my job and my insurance
Absolutely.
at that
Absolutely.
time. At that time,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
so that was 2 years before I got laid off. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward the 2 years, I was able to go to school.
Yeah.
So I said, I'm gonna enroll. I say, Jesus, if this is for me, let everything work out
Mm.
smoothly. Everything
Mm.
worked out smoothly.
Mm.
Okay. Everything worked out smoothly. And I was like, okay, Lord, I got in school. school and everything, and I still was kind of, dabbling in stuff. And for esthetician, I'm an esthetician.
Yes.
And I was working at this company, but I knew that I wanted my own business. I knew I wanted my own business. And so it just one day I went to and sister Bam preached a sermon.
Yeah.
I don't know what I mean, like I was on fire. I could not. I was like, I was just jumping. I was just so excited, and I was just like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it because I was procrastinating.
Yeah.
I didn't know. I was trying to figure it out.
Come on.
I didn't know how to figure it out. I didn't know exactly what to do.
Right.
But all I knew is it. She lit a fire. That sermon lit a fire.
That's it.
And it was like I just took off.
Yeah.
I was dreaming about it.
Mm-hmm.
It made me feel like I wanted to throw up because it was like, how am I going to do this?
Right. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So long story short, I took that. That's when I took that faith.
That's when you put the faith on and you stepped out there. Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're gonna put a comma right there.
Okay.
Because there are a couple of things I have to unpack. I've been saying this every episode. Living on the inside of what's on the inside of you, it's gonna cost you something. It's gonna cost you to step out by faith. It's gonna cost you to trust while you're trembling. Now, if you look at all of the different things that Renetta had to step out on and step over to get to her dream. Now, in the natural, I can just be honest with you. If knowing your situation, first off, you don't want to see anybody that you know have to go through hard times or deal with things that are hard. And sometimes, as what's a good word? I want to say as a protective opinion, you may be like, man, I'm with you. I believe in what you're doing, but maybe you should hold off just a little while, right? Because you got a lot going on, and man, you don't want to put yourself in a position where even though it's a good thing, it might not be the right timing. That's me as my opinion. But who am I to tell the person that God has given the thing to, or is about to step out and live? Listen, is about to step out and live on the thing that's on the inside of her. So when I look at that time of all the things, the being in corporate America, how it got botched up, and then obviously things that are so near and dear to our heart, your mom taking sick, your father taking sick, you have young kids that are dependent on everything that you do, right? It is a very turbulent time to be talking about stepping out and starting something new that you can't even quantify. But this is the key. I'll say this. I've been saying it. I'm going to continue to say it. God, he always hits a moving target. And God will he'll begin to give you trailers of what's to come when you step out and you begin to go. Because she said it, I didn't say it. She had a side hustle. That's what she called it then. A side hustle. And let me tell you something. She is good at her side hustle. She and I have done events, all kind of events together. And trust me, she is a transformer of people with her hustle. Trust me, I've seen it. I've partaken of it in my own house. We're not just friends, but we're clients, right? My wife, we use the services. She's the real deal. But like she said, then it was a side hustle, right? So I want you to hear her story. I want you to hear, and I want you to feel her being tossed back and forth with what she's dealing with, right? Most people during the toss and going back and forth, most people, they get lost in translation or they just lose faith and never press forward, right? And because the thing is so overwhelming. But what I admire about you, Renetta, is even though you had all that stuff to juggle, and then I didn't even talk about her going back to school. What? on top of all of that, right? But what I admire about you is your ability to press through it all. I'm trying to tell you, you're gonna have to go through some, you have to live through some no seeing days. In other words, I just have your word and what I believe in my heart, and there is no cis rim evidence. All of us are going to have to experience those days. I'm telling you, the sooner you begin and go through that, the better, right? Renetta know this now. She know back then God was building her character so that she could stand and still be standing 10 years later. Because she'll get into it a little later. She's going to talk about some of the things that she's encountered since she's been a business owner. It hadn't just been all peaches and creams. There's been some obstacles that she's had to overcome and have to deal with. But if she never goes through the storms earlier, for God to build her character of trust that God, like I got you, if you can't trust God on this level down here, when God brings you up here, you're going to faint. So you have to get the lesson down here, right? So I thought that was good, Renetta, for you to take the time to explain like how it came about, right? That was really, really good. And hopefully you're listening. Your story may not be Renetta's, but you can pull the principles out of what Renetta did to get to where she is, because it was not easy, right? And obviously, I wouldn't know, right? Because it's not for me to know. And it even, man, it gives it even more credence to know where you are now. I knew some of the things that you were dealing with in that season, but I didn't know to that depth. You understand? Like my people say, man, my money ain't in the bank. Somebody finna bleed. Somebody finna bleed out. What? My check? Come on. Okay, I know. As this face based, right? I shouldn't be saying that, but you know I'm telling the truth. But look how she handled it. God, look, God provided for her. He took care of her, right? He made things work out. So now, Renetta, we're gonna fast forward. Okay, that's we'll use that as we're gonna use that chapters 1 through 3. But now we're going into chapter 4. I remember you coming to church and it's like, man, brother, I got me a spot and I'm getting that spot ready. We getting ready to open the doors. Pick the story up now that you found the spot. You know it's happening. It's a real deal. You got your name and you know you got. And I remember, man, I came, boy, y'all was throwing that paint on the walls, and you know what I mean. You had that thing set up. I'm like, talk to the people, give them that excitement of when you begin to stand in the thing that you've been dreaming about, the thing that you've been talking about, and when you open that door for the first time, and it's like, this is me. God, you gave this to me. Talk
Right.
about that, Renetta. I see you smiling because it. Listen, when you walking in your purpose, it's a great thing. I'm telling, it's no feeling like it. So talk about that, Renetta. Talk about that experience.
Well, let me back up for a second.
Go ahead, back
Before I
up. Do what you
got
got
my
to do.
place,
Go ahead.
before I got the place,
Okay.
I was after I finished my schooling, which was a year.
Yeah.
And mind you, that year I did not work. God, I didn't work because it was full time.
Right.
Okay. So towards the end, I started, reaching out before I had to take my exam, start reaching out to different companies.
Mm-hmm.
So I threw like 30 resumes out there.
Wow.
And so one particular one that called me, I was like, I don't want to be doing that. I said, but I'm gonna go and go because it's in my field. And I was
Right.
like, at the interview, I said, this is how much I need to make. And they
Okay.
said, I said, can I make that? And they told me yes. We will
Mm.
train you. I said, okay, great. So fast forward, I said it to say, so I said, I'm gonna go and stay here for 6 months, get my little training, get my
Right.
experience. I'm gonna move on to what I want to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm.
So 6 months came into 2.5 years.
Wow.
One day I said this one more time, one more time. And then from there, I started looking different places. And I thought that I should stay in Houston,
Right.
okay, because Houston big, all my clients was there, stay in Houston. But then God spoke to me, he said, if I blessed you in Houston, I can bless you in Texas. Clear Lake.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, Jesus, I hear you. So long story short, someone told me about a place because I knew the places were expensive. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
someone told me, yeah, they're expensive. And I was like, I don't know how, but someone told me, I mean, the price, I couldn't believe it. Unbelievable.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
I remember the
A
price.
month, not a week.
A month, right? I remember you
Not
telling. I
a
remember
month,
that price.
not a week.
I'll
Because,
never forget that
it's
price.
$200, $300 a week.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
was paying that in
Mm-hmm.
a whole month.
Yeah, for the whole month. I remember. I remember. I was like, shoot, I need to come get me a spot. I'm gonna come get me a spot and create something. Mm.
And I was like, okay. I was so excited. I mean, from there, my wheels just turned. I didn't know nothing, but I said, okay, Jesus. And things just start happening. Just start
Yeah,
happening.
yeah.
And my clientele it started growing in this area.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, I have clients 11 years come to me to Houston that's 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 come from Humble,
Wow,
Richmond
wow,
area every month.
wow, wow. Incredible.
You know, yeah, but it was scary. It was
Yeah,
scary at first,
yeah.
and but God, he
He
provided. And
provided.
I
Yeah, he
said one
provided.
thing. I said, okay, I said, Jesus, you are my boss.
Ah,
It's me and you.
yes.
I said, it's me and you. It's me
Yeah.
and you. And sometimes I have to pinch myself, and I'm like, I'm really living the life of flexibility,
Mm.
calling my own shots, and I didn't really think about it, but when
Right.
we spoke a couple of days ago
Yes.
about the podcast,
Yeah.
10 years, it's almost been 10 years.
10 years, sis. Come on.
10
10
years.
years.
Now, in them 10 years, have it all been, you know, peaches and cream?
Right.
No.
No, they
It's been
haven't.
scary.
Yes, it
It's
has
been
been scary.
scary.
It's
It's
been
been
scary.
scary.
Yes.
And but I'll be like, Jesus, okay,
The trust element.
yes.
Everything that goes with it. I mean, seriously, people just like, oh, we said it's a cliche. You just got to trust in God. I said, "Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to, I mean, I have to trust God because it's like, it's just me and him. But I remember
Yes.
at the beginning, I said, okay, Jesus, it's me and you. You my
Right.
boss.
Yes.
Like, you, and I'm like, I mean, like, where people gonna come from? Like, how do I just, I just have to trust God. And even
Yeah.
now, sometimes I get in my own way and
Yeah.
I forget, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and then I'll be like, okay, wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel that God did put this in my heart. He did this, what I was supposed to be doing
Right.
at this season.
Yeah.
And I know he didn't give it to me to take it away.
Absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
he didn't give it, me out there hanging on a limb,
Right.
but remember the first job I told you that they let me go. I
Yeah.
mean, that morning we didn't know that we weren't gonna have a job,
Incredible.
right?
Right.
Right? But
Right.
God provided.
Yes.
And so the same here. I mean, it's like, like, if I don't work, I ain't getting paid.
Said I
If
don't
I don't
eat.
have
That's it.
clients coming in, if I don't have clients coming in, I don't get
Yeah. Yeah.
paid.
See,
You know?
see that, but that's the part that is so important. I think we put the focus on the business, and we should, because that's part of the thing he gave us. But the most important component to all of it is you. You are God's commodity, right? And I've been saying this, I'm gonna continue to say it. Living inside of what's living inside of you, the jump off is God put the desire inside of you. Let's just get that straight. God also put the gifts, the talent, and the abilities inside of you. God will allow, listen, this people, please hear me. God will allow your life to be orchestrated in such a way where it comes to seasons and crossroads where the thing on the inside of you begins to boil, right?
Mm-hmm.
The day, the day um, Pastor Alma preached a message, she didn't preach a message to tell you what to do. She preached the message to light the fire to the spark that was in you,
Mm-hmm. That's
right?
good. Right. Mm-hmm.
See, I tell people all the time, all you need is the spark. That's all you need. After that message, it was no doubt I'm moving forward. Now, watch this. You had already begun to move forward before the message came.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm telling you, when you get ready to live inside of what's inside of you, there are a series of events that's going to happen. Don't think it's strange when it gets hard. Don't think it's strange when the walls are closing in on you. All of it's designed to make you quit. That's
Mm-hmm.
when you, yeah. So it's designed to make you quit. It's designed to make you doubt God. It's designed to make you doubt yourself. It's designed for your heart to become hard. That's what it's designed to do. But I feel like it's there's a group of us that's like, man, no, I cannot accept that.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody gonna bless me up in here. Because
Yeah.
when I look back at what situation has encouraged me to go back, what in the world am I going back to? I
Correct.
ain't trying to go back and work for companies where I come in to work and they don't have no money in their bank account. What in the world is that coming back to? Right?
Right.
No, no, no. It's about moving forward. Moving forward, sometimes it's going to cost you. Listen, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you. Here in Houston, we have the toll. We have the toll. There are a couple ways that you can
Mm-hmm.
pay. You can get the easy tag, put the thing up in your window, and you go through, it recognizes it, da 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 da, you pay, you pay. The other way is we have toll booths, right? Well, when the pandemic hit, it did a number on the people sitting in the box. So now there are no people sitting in those boxes for you to physically pay. So what they said is we still gonna get you to pay, but drive through. We got technology that's gonna recognize. We're gonna charge you when you go through, and then we're gonna send you something in the mail. What is my point? None of us are getting through this for free. There is a toll that you will have to pay in order for you to live in the inside, live on the inside of what's on the inside of you. And all I'm telling you is take the take the currency that you have that you're spending on all of these things that God never designed for you to spend it on the toll to get to your destiny, to get to your purpose. Spend it on the thing that's on the inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
Renetta, that's what she did. She spent the toll money on the toll so she could get to where she is now. And so now, man, you almost 10 years deep. When we're talking about, the birthing of it, even though,
Right.
like you say, you had your side hustle and you were making some things happen, but you're about 10 years deep. So, like, I'm curious to know, talk to me about some of this get that you've experienced over these 10 years. Talk about some of the fights. Talk about how you had to maintain your focus. Talk about moments where you thought about maybe folding up the tent and doing it a different way. All of these things have been a part of it. And then I know this about you, that you've changed locations within the 10 years. So I know what it costs to have to go to a new location. So I want you to kind of talk about you done birthed it, now you in it.
Right.
It's kind of like, you had the baby, you were excited about the conception of the baby, you was excited about the 9 months. The baby is here. The baby shower is over. The little joker is eating, pooping, and staying up at night. What we
Right.
gonna do? Come on,
Right.
Renetta, talk to us about the baby now.
So in those not these 9 years, I'm gonna be honest. Uh, like I say, it's been some rocky uh moments,
Yeah.
but God always shows up. He always shows up. He always shows up. And you know, I remember the pastors preaching something about your purpose,
Mhm.
what's your purpose? And I kept on saying, I don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my purpose is.
Right, right, right.
So one day I was like, I figured it out. My purpose is to encourage the women that come in there because it's like they come to therapy.
Mm. See, I didn't want to touch it. I wanted you to say it. I wanted you to say it. Go ahead on. I'm not gonna touch it. Go ahead, sis.
It's like
Yes.
therapy. They come in there one way. Depends on what service they're getting. They come in there scared.
Right,
Okay.
right.
But most of the time when they leave,
It's a
they
different
want to
woman.
be different woman. They want to be
Different
my
woman.
best friend. They want to be
Yeah,
my best. They want, it's like, and so that encourages me.
right.
And I often would say, God, show them you inside of me.
Yes. There you go. There you go.
Okay. Let
Yeah.
them see you inside of me.
Right, right.
And I've had, over these years, I've had some tremendous clients, faithful
Yes.
clients.
Yeah.
So you said over the years, tell you, the bumps in the road or whatever. And I would say this last year probably have been, and I'm even gonna say a year. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say in the last past 6 months, I think it's been the bumpiest for me.
Yeah. I get it. I
I
get
think it's
it.
been the bumpiest for me.
I get it.
And I almost was like, well, Jesus, am I supposed to be doing something else?
Right.
Because I'm not, but you brought something to my remembrance. It's because I wasn't doing what I was doing at the beginning. It became a job.
Ah, there it is.
It
There we
became
go.
a
That's what
job.
there we
It
go.
became a job
That's
and
right.
not my ministry.
Yeah.
That was my
Yeah.
ministry.
Yeah. It's a
And
difference.
I had kind of put that to the side because it
Hmm.
was all about the hustle.
Yeah. That's it.
So I would say the last 6 months have been probably the toughest I've gone through, but because I took my eye off the prize.
That's it. There we go. Come on, girl. You dropping dimes. I don't know if you know it. You dropping some serious dimes. But this is what I love. Like the proof is in the pudding. Now watch this. You've been watching this episode. You've been watching Renetta. Watch this. The whole time, this whole interview, she just talked about probably maybe one of the toughest seasons out the 10 years, these last 6 months. And then when you think about, before I say what I'm going to say, you got to think about this. She was still functioning during the pandemic, in the height of the pandemic. The type of work she does, all of those type of businesses were shutting down and closing doors. But yet she stayed open. She stayed relevant. She stayed busy. And I believe you added services, didn't you? At the
I did
beginning of the
well.
pan at the beginning of the pandemic, some of the things you're doing now, you were not doing. Is that correct?
Well, actually, some of the service I was doing, I kind of stopped during the pandemic.
Okay, so it's the other
Okay.
side. Okay, so
Hmm.
you
And
okay.
and
Go ahead.
yeah, and then but yes, the short time I was closed, I had
Yes.
clients calling me and texting me and telling me, when are you gonna be open? I promise I ain't got nothing. I didn't
Listen,
took a COVID test. So
listen.
when can I
You
in?
see what I'm saying? You just listen, you just confirm like it's not the business of it, it's the purpose and the ministry of it. See, it's I'm telling you, God is in the people business. We get to people in all different type of ways. We get to people through ministry, like a physical church. That's a way to people. That's one of the number one ways to people, right? But then outside of that, God gives some of us, we do it through our family. Whatever relationship God connects us through our families. All right. You got to look at the community that you are a part of. That's another way you do it, right? You do it through who you marry, right? You have to look at your relationship as a parent through the people you parent, your children, right? Then your grandchildren. And then another way is through your businesses, right? It's about people in whatever way God can use you as a conduit to get the people according to the gifts, talents, and abilities that He's put inside of you. That's how you have to view it. Now, you prayed something, God, if it's for me, let it be for me. God has shown you over and over again, is for you. Like the impact that you have had on people, because the services that you give, oh my God, it's thousands of people doing what you're doing in the city of Houston, in the air. It's like it's a booming business in terms of what you do, but it's not booming in the sense of people who have the God connection or the God factor, right? They come in one way, but they leave another. On most ends of business, it just happens on the natural part because they get a service. But on your part, they're walking out with more than a service. They're walking out with an experience. And like you said, it's not necessarily just the experience with Renetta, but it's the experience of who Renetta represents. I, I'm keep saying it, it's game changer. It's game changer. Um, I've been going to fast foods. I don't want to date myself, but since I was a kid, I was a kid back in the 70s, so I'll leave it there. I've been going to a myriad of businesses, fast food businesses, right? But I just haven't been in one fast food, talking fast food, that tops the experience of Chick-fil-A. I just have not found anybody that's on their level that continues to do it day in, day out, year in, year out. Chick-fil-A have set themselves apart from their competitors. And then watch this. Unlike their competitors, they close on Sunday and killing the game Monday through Saturday. Why? You have to ask yourself why. Even if I don't like necessarily all that, but you still have to ask yourself, what is it about their customer service that sets them apart? They have one right here by the house, and there are a whole bunch of them in the area. Whenever I go, the lines are wrapped around like like Beyonce up in there or something. I'm just, my point is this: the proof is in the pudding. It works when you work it. And so I was saying, using that analogy, just to say to Renetta, just keep doing what you're doing because you know this. We talked about the conduit before this podcast even started, and God uses that conduit to get His um, His purpose to where it needs to go. But watch this: a conduit is in pieces, right? And you may start out just a piece of conduit, but what's going to happen is you're going to end up getting an elbow on it, and He's going to send that conduit in a different direction. What do I mean? In other words, what you started out doing, God's going to grow it because there are some other things for you to do, and there are some other people that you need to touch, all because you're living inside of what's on the inside of you. And so this is what I was going to say before I said that. Even though you said these last 6 months have probably been maybe the most, maybe rockiest, if I could use that term, when Renetta has been talking the whole interview, even during that time, she's had this big smile on her face. I wonder, I don't know no business owner that's smiling about a rocky 6 months. Why and how is she smiling? I'm just asking questions. I want you to think about it. I ain't Renata, I ain't paying her no money to be on here. She on here out of goodness of her heart. I ain't promised her no Chick-fil-A, and I ain't tell her I was gonna get her car washed and none of that stuff. I didn't tell her I was gonna buy a bunch of product, none of that. This is straight family right here. My point is I'm pointing out things to you to show you, despite what happens and what comes against you, it's real. But because of that right there, I already know that she gonna make it, and she getting ready to go from here to another place. So I hope, man, that you guys are getting this download. You're hearing it from the mouth of this young lady of what she's experienced. So Renetta, I think, what about this business? Um, what about this business ignite ignite your passion. Um, what about this business makes you want to reach more people and be, I guess, more visible in the lives of people through this business? And talk a little bit about that, because I've been around you when you do it. I know people who do it and they don't show any emotion, they don't show any life. They're good at it. Don't get me wrong, they
Mhm.
are very good at it, and they just do it and they collect and go on. Um, and I would almost venture to say when they go home, it's it turned off until the next day when they get ready to do it again, they turn it back on. One of the things I know about you, like you don't, I've never seen Renetta turned off in terms of uh your personality. Like you, even though you do a business, your personality, who you are, it all bleeds in together, right? You made a statement. Like when they come, they're scared. They're not even really sure they want to do it, but by the time they leave, they want to be your best friend. They want to hook up. Like you don't just do a business like that, turn it on and turn it off, and you get those type of results. So talk to me about your passion, because I'm curious to know, and I'm curious for my viewer to hear like your kind of inside track on that. How do you balance that? You know what I mean? And then I know you're thinking about expansion. Like what you're doing is cool, but you got some expansion on your mind. Kind of talk about that. I know it's kind of a loaded question, but if you could talk about that. I think it'd be really helpful because you can do something for a minute, and then when you're good at it, you could pretty much do it in your sleep. And if you're not careful, it'll become very mundane. It's like, and like you said, I kind of thought for a minute, man, maybe should I be doing something else? But when you reset, you recalibrate, you realize, no, I still have, I still have work to do in this lane. But while I'm in this lane, I'm also thinking about the next lane I want to build. Can you
Right.
talk a little about that, sis?
Yes. Um, this while ago when you were talking about there's a lot of people that do what I do.
Hmm.
And I was gonna say something about that.
You should. I want you
Uh,
to.
I was gonna say something
I'm
about
trying to
that
poke
before
you.
you said it. And at
I,
first I was like, no, I'm not gonna say it, but then you said it. And then I was like, okay, we're on the same
but you
page.
get what I said about it, right? You know what I
Yes,
mean.
because you say that, and I always say this, and I tell people um that talk to me about they want to know what I do or how I do it, or maybe they thinking about doing it.
Right.
And I tell them all the time, there is a zillion hairstylists in the area.
Yep.
Okay, good hairstylists.
Oh, absolutely.
Myself, there are several estheticians that do different specialties that
Hmm.
that are better than I am. But the
Absolutely.
one thing you can get
Come on now. Come on now.
is customer service.
Come on now.
You have to be a relatable person. And I have had clients, hundreds of clients, tell me, I don't know what it is that you do to make it feel different than when I've been going to XYZ.
Right.
And I asked myself, I don't know what I'm doing different. I've had women tell me that I just like how I like how you do things. It's comfortable in your suite. It's homey. You make me feel comfortable.
Hmm.
You know, and only thing I can say is that I ask God to let people see Him in me,
There it is. There it is.
and so I don't care what kind of day I'm having, and everybody getting their little, I don't care what, but by the time I'm done with the client or
Hmm.
we didn't talk, because I know they, if they married or not, if they got how many kids, how many dogs they have,
Yeah,
if
that's it.
they from here or whatever.
Yeah.
So in that 15 minutes that I spend with them,
Hmm.
I know their whole life story.
Yeah.
So when they come back, it's I'm always asking, how is this? How is that? and it's this, I mean, and we didn't have some good moments up in there,
Right.
and but it's about your customer. It doesn't matter. Like you said earlier, God has what He has for you. He has for you.
That's it.
So it doesn't matter how good you are,
Mhm.
okay, and you may not be even that good, but
Right.
because He has His hand on you or whatever, you gonna
Yeah.
get who you supposed to get. So I'm
Yeah.
not afraid. Let me say this, and I'm not afraid to not to lose clients
Right.
because He
That's it.
always replaced them.
That's it.
He
That's
always
it.
replaced them.
That's it.
So
I love it.
yeah.
See, that's
Yeah.
that's that's good for someone to know because what it does is, I'm not saying you can go into business like very loose about it. No, I'm not saying that. You need to have some boundaries. You need to have some do's and don'ts. But more than anything, your convictions about who you are and what you do, let those be at the forefront of your services. Like you said, like, okay, God, if I'm dependent on you, this is key. Am I dependent on my clientele to meet my numbers? Because let's talk now business. If you don't have numbers and goals and budgets and all of that, you're setting yourself up for failure. There is a business side to the business, right? Whether you faith based or not, there's a business number. But if I'm putting my faith in meeting those numbers without the convictions, without me having some morals, some character, some ethics, some excellence about some things, you're going to set yourself up for failure. And so it is a place of faith where I'm depending on you, God. You said, because you said this, Jesus, you my boss.
Mhm.
So if he's your boss, if he's your boss, and you understand this with having a landlord, there's some things you can do at your business that you can get away with. And then there's some things you can't do because you have a landlord and you have to submit to the rules and regulations of the property or the space of what the landlord has said. It's no different with our Lord and Savior. So if we're in business and he's the boss, okay, I submit to this. And then I trust you to meet this. Why? You gave it to me. You know what it's going
Mhm.
to take, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so what happens is when you have some longevity with it, when you look back over your shoulder, it's like, man, look at the person that I am. I'm thankful for all the clientele. That's the blessing. But when you look at the big picture of it, it's like, man, look at the person I've become.
Right.
So
Right.
now he says, you when you're faithful over little, you qualify now to be faithful over much.
Right.
So
Right.
this our inside joke because your vertical and your horizontal about to hit. So I didn't see I can't drop that on them right now, Renetta. We can't drop that on them right now. But I promise you, faithful over little. God says you qualify to be ruler over much. So that doesn't happen unless you do what? Live
Right.
inside of what's inside of you. Renetta, this has been phenomenal. I told you, I tried to told you, sis. Like
You
I
did.
don't know. Look, we should have been sat down, but as we were talking the other day, I said, Renetta, it's God's timing.
Right.
The timing, the place that you are in your life, the things that you are journeying in and towards in your life is God's timing. And think about it. Um, One of the things I find really fascinating is when you listen to um, men that were who were addicts at one point in their lives, whether it be drugs, alcohol, sex, abuse, whatever addiction that they had. Many times, for a lot of them, it's years later that they're able to talk about it and give the specs about what happened.
Mhm.
Why? Why? Even though God will heal you, He'll deliver you and set you free, there's still a process of walking some things out. Walking the things out is not for God because God healed you.
Mhm.
Walking things out is for you.
Mhm.
We're going to be on a journey. As long as we're breathing, you're on this journey throughout life. 10 years, when you look back, you should not be the same Renetta that you were 10 years ago. You should be a different version of the woman, you know, you should be a different person
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
hopefully a better version of that. like people always ask me, man, what is up with this H2O? H2O is just Harry 2.0. It's just a play on words. This version of me is a better version and than what I was 10 years ago. I don't want that version. I don't want him. Hey, 10 years ago for what he was doing, that was cool. But that dude can't fit these shoes right now. Not the shoes that I'm wearing now. He's not even equipped to. Now,
Right.
he was called to it back then. But from 10 years ago to now, it's taken all of these things to get to this place and to be able to have this platform. So I keep it in perspective in terms of that, right? I This is just me. I don't mean no flack on anybody. You know, you hear people saying that, yo, man, um, 30 is the new 20, 40 is the new 30, 50 is the new 40. I don't believe in that. I don't like that term. No, no, no. If I'm 50, no, 50 is the new 50.
Mhm.
It's like I'm going to enjoy every season of life that I'm in. In other words, I'm not looking back. I don't want to go through my 40s again. Lord knows I don't want to go through my 20s and 30s. I don't want that. Whatever I got, I got it. Hey,
Right.
I'm looking forward, right? And so it helps keeps things in perspective. And so when I listen to you talk, it gives me a clear perspective about trusting the process, right? And
Yes.
I found out some things about your story that I didn't know that just like, oh, that even gives it more credence. Like to know she was going through all of that, but yet she was riding the ship the whole time.
Right.
So man, this has been so good to me, Renetta. And I want to say again to those that are listening, just naturally, Renetta was having some internet issues. Now, we're in the area, it's storming like cats and dogs where we are right now. And sometimes during the weather, your services may kind of be a little interrupted and that type of thing. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to give a real-time lesson on just because things go haywire, you don't go haywire and you don't stop and cut it off. It would have been so easy to just say, hey, you know what, Retta, let's connect another time. Let's try to do it in 2 or 3 more hours. No, 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 no. This is the time that we set apart. This is the time we said it was gonna happen, right? When you're 9 months pregnant and you crowning at 6, do you tell the baby, let's come back next week and have the no, no, no. The baby, like, no, I'm coming right now.
Now.
Right now. You don't dictate to the baby when he or she is gonna be born. Come on, destiny set the time for the baby to be born. And this is our destiny to be on at this time. And everything that happened during this episode needed to happen. Because when people go back and watch it and hear your story, and like I said, I can't wait for you to go back and hear what I was talking about while you wasn't on, right?
Mhm.
Because like in this season, I'm just saying, and I'm gonna keep saying it, we gotta toughen up. I'm gonna
Right.
encourage you to toughen up. You can do it. I'm not trying to make you, I ain't trying to turn you into no UFC fighter. I ain't nothing like that. But those of us of faith, we understand that we're in a battle. And I'm gonna say this and we'll close it out, Renetta. We have been so used to being on a cruise ship, the Carnival, the Royal Caribbean. When you're going after your dream, your destiny, and you want to live on the inside of what's living inside of you, you
Mhm.
can't ride no carnival ship. You got to get on a battleship. You got to get on that bad boy with the Navy, the ones that's got the big guns sticking out, the ones that's got airplanes on it, because you are in a fight.
Right.
Those men get to go home and be topside when the fight is over.
Mhm.
But while they're in the midst of the battle, they handling business. So right now is the season to handle business. You're gonna get to go do all that other stuff later on. But right now, this is necessary. Why? Because there are people depending on us. Think about the next young lady that needs to step out on faith and do what you did.
And it's funny you said that. This season is, I said this earlier this year. I said, this season is all about the grind.
Mm,
It's all about the grind.
mm-hmm.
It's like, Renetta, when we go, girls like, when we go on a girls trip, and this is it. I said, right now, I don't, right now, I can't. I can't even comprehend it right now. Right now, this season right now is about the grind. And
Yes,
I've
it
been
is.
saying that for the last.
You got to keep saying it. You have to keep saying it. You got to
Mm-hmm.
keep saying it because multiplication is for us right now. For those
Mm-hmm.
that can tap in, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Uh, see, uh, okay. So think about this. No, think about this. You need to have girlfriends that's asking you, "Hey, girl, when we doing a
Right.
girls trip, you need the girls trip."
Right.
But let's put it in perspective. Would you rather go on a girls trip? You know, you go, you got your stuff, you got your money, y'all go, y'all have a good time, and you know, say y'all gonna be gone for 5 days. You know, you got
Mm-hmm.
5 days, but you know,
Mm-hmm.
after the 5 days, you got to go, you got to get back, you got to hurry up and get back and get to it, right? And you had a great time, girlfriends, man. Y'all had a great time, wonderful time.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather do it that way, or would you rather do it like this? Girlfriends like, look, man, we're going on a girls trip. We're gonna be gone for 5 days. Would you rather be A, do the first trip, or would you rather be this person? Like, you know what? You're right, girls. We're going on a girls trip. Matter of fact, this girls trip is on me. I'm paying for everybody to go.
You,
We're going for 5 days. You
I already
understand?
said that.
Listen, I ain't in no rush to get
Yes.
back. I ain't in no
Yes.
rush to get back. Why?
Yes.
Because I got
Yes.
somebody handling my 4 locations. So y'all tell me what time of year is best for y'all. It don't matter
Right.
for me. I can take off whenever. You know what I mean? And like this time, you understand, we're going full throttle. We ain't going coach, we're going first
Right.
class airline, first class where we stand, all inclusive. We're gonna go, you say girl, we might as well, you're gonna let your hair down, take it out, whichever one you gotta do, it's on me. Do you
And
want to and,
not only that, not only that, this I threw this in here too.
throw it in
I
there?
said, I said, if you don't have enough vacation, I will pay for you to be off. I will pay
Hello?
for you. I will pay your time off. If you don't have
Hel-
enough pay, I will
he-
pay your time off.
Hello? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's the difference. It's the difference. The first vacation, we've been conditioned to take it, and thank God for them. Oh my
Oh
God,
yeah.
I am
Yes.
not hating. It's levels to it, but
Mm-hmm.
I just believe there is a possibility that you don't always have to take vacation A. When you cannot take a vacation, you can be the vacation.
Exactly. Exactly.
Anyway, I Renette, I because if I keep touching that, we're gonna go somewhere else. Listen,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
New Balance podcast. Show some love for my sister Renetta Biagas.
thank,
So good.
thank
I
you.
told you
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
this has been so rich. Now Renetta, I do. Excuse me. I stated in the podcast earlier that I've been seeing your business skills for years, and I highly recommend what you do. And so, to my sisters that are watching, to my brothers that you maybe want to be a blessing to your wife or to your mom, to your daughter, whoever, to the women in your life. I highly recommend this young lady here, Renetta Biagas. Please tell us how we can get in touch with you, where your business is, talk about some of the services that you offer. Just let us know. We want to know. I believe in supporting business, especially Black-owned businesses. And this, like I said, this is family on here. And whatever we can do to help, uplift you and push you, we want to do that, Renetta. So please share the name of your business. Give us all your information. If you want people to follow you on IG, whatever it is that you want to say, you have the floor right now. Go ahead, sis.
Okay, so I am my business is Maximus Beauty by Renetta. So that's Maximus Beauty by Renetta. I am
Yes.
located in Clear Lake, in the Clear Lake area. My number, you can reach me at 832-423-0271.
Mm.
Also, my website is www.maximusbeautybyrenetta.com. And I am on Facebook and Instagram, and recently TikTok. So if you have a TikTok account.
Okay.
And the services that I provide as of now, I do makeup for any occasion, and I also am a waxer. Call myself a waxologist. Some of my
Yes.
clients call some of my clients call me the wax whisperer.
The wax whisperer. Whoa. Woo. Okay. Woo. That's deep right there. Got the. Oh, that's weak. Oh man, the wax whisperer. Okay. All right, fellas, be strong right here, fellas. Be strong. But no, that's the day we live in. Those are
Yes.
services that are offered. What other services do you offer, if any, Renetta?
Those two are the only services that I offer now. I used to
Okay,
offer several, but like I said, I revamped my
sure.
service list after the pandemic. So right now, I'm just solely makeup and waxing.
Okay.
Mhm.
Um, Now, Renetta, do you still do like weddings? Are you doing like weddings or special
Right,
events, that
right.
type of
So
things?
any kind of makeup service you need, whether it's a wedding, it's
Got it.
you just any occasion.
Yeah.
No don't have no occasion at all. If you just want
Yeah. No, I
makeup
was gonna
done.
say I highly recommend if you're doing a wedding, you definitely want to have her come in, be a part of your team. For your young ladies, if young ladies is doing prom, senior pictures, all of
Mhm.
those things that that line up in that field. Like I said, I highly recommend this young lady. It's TP, it's tested, it's proven, and the customer service is off the Richter scale.
And
Go ahead,
one other
sis.
thing, I do have a young lady that does lashes that's in my shop
That's in
also.
your circle. Yeah, 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 for
Yes.
sure. For
So
sure.
yes. So
Yeah,
if ladies want to get their lashes done, you can also reach out to me on the information I gave you.
absolutely. Please hit my sister up. You know what I mean? Definitely when you hit her up, let her know. Just for me, because I want to know. I need to know that you guys are, because you guys always do. You always follow up. Let me know how good the podcasts were, or when it comes to different services. Please, when you hit her up, let her know that you heard about her via the New Balance podcast. That way, she'll contact me and just like, hey, people from the podcast, they reaching out to me, and for me, that's what I want. Like I said, we are going to build our community, right? And in our community, there was a time. I'm gonna say this, and I'm speaking specifically right now to my brothers and sisters of the Black community. Listen to me. There was a time where we, as a people, everything that we needed, it was within a community, and we worked together to make sure that each other was good. In other words, that was called a bartering system, meaning if I had apples and Renetta had pecans, I would give Renetta my best apples, not my sorry apples, not stuff that was pig laden, all of that. We would barter. Renetta would give me the best of her pecans. We supported each other. We looked out for each other. And because we had that community, there was nothing that we could not do. We have to return to those times in terms of supporting each other in a business sense, also in a family, because it was family oriented, right? Families, it was just a different focus, right? And so when you look at the landscape of our families and what's happened, in order for us to restore what's been broken and what's been torn apart, we have to go back to the drawing board of how it was created, right? And so these are the ways that we do it, right? And it's going to be good for everybody that's a part of it. And so I'm big on that. Now, I'm not just supporting Black businesses only. Please let me put that out there too, right? Because I don't have just Black people that's just watching this podcast. It's a myriad of people who follow. Thank you so much for coming on New Balance Podcast. Give it up for Renetta. one more time. Whoa, this was good, sis. And listen, as we always say before we get out of here, you see it back there. It's strength for today, sustenance for tomorrow. It's your boy H2O, your potential conditioner. I love you, and we'll see you next episode. Peace.